second. Let me just play this intro here, and then we'll stop it, and then we'll discuss.
Yeah.
Unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male.
There's no way we're hiring white folks right now. Huh. I wonder why. Can
Also,
anyone get
no
to the bottom of it?
Irish.
Yes. The Irish suck the worst, man. All right. So.
Does my
let's do
mic
this.
even work? Can you guys hear me?
You
Yeah,
got a little wind.
Yeah, there's a
Do you
little
have
bit
a
of wind.
windsock on you,
wait.
Joe?
I got a fan on. Okay. And there's somebody working outside. It's the city. I'll do best I can.
All right. Well, so what's up, Joe? You seem pretty motivated to want to
I
come
do.
in.
I love this. I don't want to get you've been in a good mood. Every time I saw you, you've been in a good mood lately, and I don't want to ruin that, right?
Well, why would you ruin it? Are you gonna lie to me?
Because no, you hate criticism. I expect when I disagree with your
come on.
opinions,
That's
I'm gonna get yelled at and put
All right,
down.
Fi, would you like to point out how Joe Cool just started a non sequitur with a straw man argument? Come on, Joe. You
Stop
should know better.
poking the bear. Let him sleep.
All right, Joe. Do you want to re-edit your words and maybe speak
Try
some
again,
truth?
Joe, with less attitude. Quit being so uppity.
All right, seriously though, what did you think of the video that we just saw?
I thought the girl's a bit of a clown. She had some good arguments, and I'm more interested in because your perceptions of them were so wild. I'd have to bring most of them over here to America, and I assume most of them still hold over here in America. White people, and generally speaking, all people. But I'm just going to talk about white people. Please forgive me. But the indoctrination is strong here. Everybody thinks black people are less. It's been since the inception of the country. It's never changed. I don't know. White people think it's stopped now. If you go back 40 years, every 40 years, white people thought racism and segregation and shit was done. And then they look back. They got some type of ability to look back 30 years and be like, oh, yeah, that shit was really racist. But at the time, they never see it.
That is true.
Right?
I kind of got to agree with you on that one, Joe.
And then the Democrats arrived.
Yeah, it's always the Democrats, actually. Yeah.
All right, let me cut this band out. Y'all talk.
Let me fix your political problem there, Joe. First of all, I'd like to go ahead and officially announce my campaign for 2024. I'm running as Emperor Phi of Conservataria, and my vice emperor is Token Joe Cool. So if you are a racist, you have no choice but to vote for me, because
you're racist if you don't. It's logical.
And if you don't vote for my token candidate, then what does that say about you? So vote for Emperor Phi, whether you want to or not. You don't have a choice, and because if you don't, you're racist. Okay. So there's my official announcement.
Let's engage the topic of what we talked about and what did we see. Let's just respond to what we watched. The transgender model defends her nonsense claims about basically all white people are racist.
Wait, she was trans. I didn't really pay her a lot of attention.
Yeah, it was a dude.
That was a dude trapped in a woman's body, trapped in an insane person's body.
Oh, that had to be fun and entertaining. I know.
But the
you
topic was
that shit.
Yes, it wasn't the tranny button yet. He was saving the tranny card just in case he got shot down with the racism card. He was going for his backup trap card.
Mad victimhood, and it's obvious. We could see it. We can make fun of that girl.
So Joe, since you're my vice emperor, before we run our campaign, the first thing you need to do is become gay and a trans woman, because you got the black stuff covered, but you need
wow, you ask a lot, bro.
You got to put some like gold braids in your hair, so that you can really appeal to the Norwegian element of our voter base.
As long as we speaking that stereotypical shit, black guys, straight guys, is gonna make to be gay or to make that put on a dress. That's like asking us to kill our firstborn or something, man. That's a leap.
So once you wear the costume, you don't have to worry about like debates and stuff. You know how sometimes they make the presidential candidates debate each other to see which one's the smarter person?
I remember they used to, but nowadays you can't even talk. Neither candidate can even talk.
we're gonna get the express lane. We're gonna go right past the debate stage because you're gonna be wearing a dress and some some blonde extensions, and so all you have to do is identify as a gay black woman.
Oh, blow me.
Hey, you
fuck
gotta steal some poor African lady's clothes out of the airport and then wear them and pretend that you made them.
Dashiki or something. Yeah.
No, did you hear about that? That there was it was a gay Democratic aide or whatever from the White House he had a penchant for stealing people's clothes at airports. And he ended up stealing this woman, African woman, had made her own like unique garb. So I mean, there's no confusing it. Hoop earrings and stuff. And he works in the White House, and it's like, so he got caught, and he barely even got a slap on the wrist.
Oh my God, that's funny.
But you'll have to do stuff like that though, Joe. You're gonna have to go and steal. You're gonna have to be like an airport pack rat.
I'm gonna need a lot more mushrooms and psychedelics to pull this off, bro.
Yeah, see Joe's like crouching over like somebody's suitcase, like tearing through their clothes, trying to pick something, and he runs off with it in his mouth back in
Fuck
underneath
you,
the
blow
conveyor belt.
me, blow
It's
me.
mine now.
See, Joe, this is why you're doing it all wrong, dude. You're like trying to go the auditor route and use like logic and reason and shit. But if you just
Right.
identify as a gay black woman, you're above the law.
I
They can't
think
even arrest
so.
you.
I think you might be on to something, man.
Yeah. So we're gonna get back to engaging the topic at hand and not try to
Oh, okay. What was the
pull
topic
away
again?
from it.
Was it racism or trannies? Because I
It's
keep getting
not your.
confused.
It was that white people are bad, okay?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
what about here in America, man? Are white people, generally speaking, racist here in America?
If they vote Democrat, 100%.
And I know you want to bring it over to the libertarian shit. I'm trying to keep you away from there. We'll get there eventually.
Did I say libertarian? I
You're
said
trying
Democrat.
to work there. I know. As soon as you
Democrat.
say that, you're going to a libertarian.
Or are you implying that the alt-right is part of the Republican side?
No,
Is that where you're
I
going,
am.
Joe?
No, that's where you want to go. I'm trying to just keep it on race right now. I don't want to do the political shit.
Oh, okay.
But
No
dude,
politics. Gotcha.
not yet. I do. I love talking about that shit. You know I do. But GS trying to keep it on what he was talking about, which is racism.
Okay.
Would you guys agree that black people have historically and are now, more importantly, second class caste society here in America?
If y'all are, it's your own damn fault.
Is that a yes or a no?
I don't think so.
You think it's equal now with blacks?
So
Definitely.
well, is
All
it
right.
equal in the NBA? How about the NFL?
Well, what about? Let me get your answer on that first. You think it's racially equal here in America now? GS?
No, the NBA's definitely got a disparity, and so does the NFL.
Wait a minute,
But
Joe. Your question is too vague. You need to specify your question, dude.
I'd like to open it up vague. That's why I said in general. Here, black people get pulled over more, go to jail more, longer
Do
sentences. I'm asking these. What do you guys think? Because to me, it's clearly, lopsided.
So
I think poor people get pulled over more, and so
yeah, but we were talking about. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Joe, just curious though, if everyone had a guess, and I kind of probably flashed the answer already to you, but when do you think? How long has racism existed?
I think forever, since the first dark and light motherfucker stepped out of a.
Yeah. How long is language and the ability for one to articulate and write things down and transpose and communicate and converse? How long do you think that's been something that's been in existence?
Well, they'll tell us the Sumerians. I guess that's
like
about
cuneiform and stuff like that, probably, right? So,
I'm going to push back on Joe real quick. My current theory is that the Tower of Babel not only was language created, but I think race was created as well, because like language is pretty easy to overcome.
I don't think that's pushback. I like the theory.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because that's when God said you all need to be separated, speak different languages.
Separates humans like different skin.
Yeah, that's a you might be on. Well, let's put a pin in that and try to go back to that and explore it, if not today, but I think like Joe and I would really like to engage in that.
Because I don't think Adam and Eve and their neighbors were suffering from racism, because they were probably all the same color, same language, and they may have been like, your nose is bigger than mine or something, but they didn't give a shit. They were.
I mean, because the air was free back then, so we know that Jews like a good deal, right?
But I don't think they cared about race back then, and that's why they got along so well and started building their tower together as one unified people of Earth.
Go ahead.
So let's get back on target here. So the premise of the question was, how long has the concept of racism existed? You said pretty much since the beginning, and then we now I'm trying to narrow it down to like how long is language, written language, the ability to convey and communicate and write something down. And we said the Sumerians probably with cuneiform stuff like that. So it's interesting, but when do you think the term racism was actually coined? And if you already saw it already, it's fine to say.
I did not. I'm looking up. I'm not even looking at the
I
phone.
bet it was right about that time where evolution started getting real popular, and this like Darwin dude kept talking about like how some humans are hairless monkeys and some are still trying to make their journey through the hairless monkey stage or something.
Interesting again. I 1902. Is that when Darwin theory came out?
I
I
think
think
that was
Darwin was a little later than that.
ballpark. They were kind of in the
Ballpark.
same era, not the same
Uh,
day, but
yeah, yeah. Interesting.
I think Darwin is in the 1800s. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but 1902 is the first, seems to be the Oxford English Dictionary's first recorded utterance of the word racism was by a man named Richard Henry Pratt in 1902. Now, I wonder if we look up Pratt, I wonder if he belongs to a certain type of tribe that likes to really to get people to go against each other so that they're not fighting against what's really going on in the world. I wonder if he might have some tribal ties.
I don't get paid till tomorrow, so I'm low on funds. But I would not bet against UGS. So what you doing here?
I bet he was a dick either way.
But I mean, it's interesting to me because there seems like these words are weaponized in order to tear us apart, in order to pit us against each other.
They are effective. They work. They got me up here.
But at the same time, doesn't it kind of have to exist in our hearts to not want to like each other?
Everyone's racist, guys.
Is that true
We're
though?
all
What GS
racist.
just said, must it exist in our heart? Because I don't believe it's a thing. I'm absolutely sure that you are as much as my brother, as my literal brother, and I mean that in the way I have to love you and every other thing. I don't believe there's a difference in races. We start depends on whether you were under the sun longer. That's it. Race should be a descriptor.
Now, kumbaya, calm down.
I really believe that shit.
So first of all humans, or I'm sorry, most humans have brains, and so the humans with brains have these little balls connected to the brains called eyes, and so if we use our eyes, we can see there are differences between humans. So that's the obvious part. I think that the cultural problem is like some humans feel like we need to use that as a dividing line. Like, let's separate the dark ones from the light ones and see if we can, get little clubs to form that way and control each other or something like that.
It's okay as a descriptor, but when you're getting into what you're talking about, like if me and GS are standing together, you say the tall black dude or the short white guy. I don't know how tall you are. As a descriptor, it's wholly
exactly
fine.
I'm 5'3".
Exactly.
I wear baby cap jump boots.
But Joe nailed it right on the head. Even if you were both the same skin color, let's say like half of the room are like 3-foot dudes, and the other half of the room are like 8-foot tall dudes. Now, obviously, there's
I don't see
race.
height. I don't see height.
No, but there would be a whole new racism topic right there. The races would be the dwarves versus the giants.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Yes, those evil tall people or those evil short people. You're right. We would divide it. Yes.
Have you guys noticed recently the great pangs that they're having to go through to try to not describe who's committing crimes right now?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
youths,
racism.
But listen, guys. The second it's a
Urban-
white person, that's the very first thing you'll hear. White cop shoots unarmed black guy.
I like that now because I'm a troll or something, but I am so glad now because we've been complaining every time a black person does something, black person does this, and if a white person does it was just man shoots a person.
So you like it now when it happens to Whitey.
Yes,
so
I like that Whitey is
I appreciate
getting
your
attention.
honesty, Joe. So this confirms that slavery is bad when you're the slave, but it seems to be hunky-dory okay when you're the master.
No, you're wrong. Just because I like it doesn't mean something is good. Right.
And also, I know Joe doesn't want me to get political, but
I
certain
say
clubs.
just because I
I
like a
didn't say it
thing
was good,
doesn't
but
mean
it said
it's
you liked
good.
it. It's okay to be the slave, or it's not okay to be the slave, but it seems hunky dory fine if you're the slave master
You're
in
making a
order for.
leap. All I'm saying is I saw a bully beating up
Mhm,
on people. Someone hit that bully in the mouth, and I
mhm,
was glad. It's not okay. It's not
okay.
right, but I was glad. You cats have been either silent or complicit in this shit forever. And then you gaslight black people by telling, oh, there's nothing going on. So when a white motherfucker gets, I didn't get that job. Motherfucker, cry me a river, motherfucker. They gave it to a black guy. Cry me a river. The only reason they made the laws because you motherfuckers wouldn't hire black people, and you still don't. Fuck you. Cry me a river. I love seeing you fucking whine.
Don't
Straight
forget
white
the
man.
Irish. They also couldn't find employment for a while
Yes,
because of their
that's why
Dogs and
standpoint.
Irish.
that's why I'm behind the immigrants so hard right now, because I know what the Irish went through and other people went through. They literally spit on them. No dogs and Irish allowed and all of that shit. I see the same thing happening now with the immigrants.
Also, on the weird topic of race, weren't like the Orientals also immigrants, but they somehow found work. Like, what was their magic
They got
trick?
a beaten railroad. They were slaves for a long time.
Right, but
Railroad
now
shit.
they own like all of the restaurants and the dry cleaners and shit. So like,
I don't know if this is true, but there were two. It wasn't white versus black during slavery. There were a host of white motherfuckers that were damn near equally to the yoked to the slave, that were just indentured servants. And then when they brought that race shit into play, a lot of the white people were able to slip into a different society. And I think the focus was so on that white black thing. I think other people got a break and had a chance to get away from it, because whites and black were at each other's throat for the next 40 years or however long. It's
do
more than that, I'm sure.
do you guys like conspiracy theories?
You
Oh,
know I do.
I got a whole show that
Okay.
talks.
Was the Civil War just a psyop to cover up the fact that we were fighting against a federal union and it wasn't about skin color or slaves, or do you think that they threw in the
I think it was
slavery just to make it black versus white
the
thing?
more I've looked into it, I was an unapologetic, proud, damn Irish Yankee who said that the North would rise again, and then or the South would rise again, and the North would be 2-0. And since I started doing, what's up, base? Good to see you. Oh man,
Come on up, Ace.
I
Let's
haven't
do it.
pinned the stream yards. Ever since I started doing some research, I started looking into it as more like the war of northern aggression. From my understanding, which is limited, mind you, and beg my pardon. I beg your pardon, rather, if
Granted.
I get it wrong. But from what I understand, a lot of the southern states had things ratified and codified in their state constitution that they could pull out of the union if things weren't going the right way. But there was a legal process in which they had to go before Congress,
I never
which is
heard that.
which is exactly what they did. Matter of fact, there was actually a Democrat, I think, or there was a Southern congressman that got cracked in the head by a guy with a cane from the North, and they were trying to secede out of the Union, but because there were more millionaires per capita in Mississippi at the time than there were in New York City, they actually needed that income. They needed that taxable income. The North needed the South way more than the South needed the North, which is quite interesting. And someone like Robert E. Lee, the North was desperate to recruit him because he was a absolute brilliant general, but he chose kith and kin, his state, and loyalty to his kith, his kin, and his state over the country, because the country refused to accept their withdrawal from the Union, which was codified and ratified and was supposed to be permissible if they went through step A through Z in order to do it. They did it, and it was ignored. So
Sound
a lot
like
of
the
people don't.
way the police and government does us now. They tell us
Bingo.
that you do have the right. It's just procedures you have to go through to secure them, and it never works. You go through court, and it never works for
It's the
you.
process is the punishment. You're exactly right.
Woo! The process is the punishment. I love that. I'm gonna try to steal it, but it's
And
early. I might not remember.
good show today, Based. I don't know if you're still in here. Appreciate you stopping in and saying hi, at least to give it one algorithmic boost. I thought you did a good show today. I'm
We
sorry
need you, base.
that
I'm
they,
sorry.
yeah, I'm sorry that they talked about me a little bit too much, in my opinion. The interview should have been about you, and actually, I would love to interview you, Based, because I think I would like to actually make the interview about you.
Careful what
And
you ask for.
and find out a little bit more about you, because I heard some things that I never knew about, man, and we do have some commonalities that I was actually
Hey,
surprised.
GS. Speaking of the devil, I was gonna have a little military panel today. Would you like to jump
Sweet,
on?
I would absolutely, yeah.
Okay, sweet. We're still deciding whether it's on base channel or my channel. Nobody watches my channel, so we can say
Okay.
whatever we want there. But
Base, we need another black man. Base, we need another black man up here. You need to hop
but
up.
but right
Yeah,
now the
he's like
topic is racism.
4.3%, isn't he, or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Or I thought he said he was
4.3 or
4.3.
4. Yeah.
So the only reason why I brought up my tinfoil hat theory is if in today's environment, if we were to retry to attempt to have the conversation about the Federals versus the Libertarians, I would be willing to bet it would end up being labeled as alt-right, white supremacy or something like that, because
Mm.
that's the only card the left wing has. And so fortunately for the left wing, the in quotes right wing, who are the same left wing, by the way, will happily play along with this narrative and accept the title alt right, which just really rustles my jimmies every time I hear that, because I don't want to get political, Joe, but we all know who the National Socialists are. It's not right wing. National Socialism is not a right wing
Yeah, they're
ideology.
hardcore leftists.
Yeah. And so, if you want to debate fascism, we can, but that's a whole nother can of worms that nobody on panel wants to get into. So, anyways, long story short, my point was, I think there is a need to start pushing back, to the right wing, but we'll never get there because we're extinct, and all we do is argue in terms of center left versus left at these
like it.
days.
Yeah.
So, but we could do racism. So, Joe, cool. Remember, you lived through the '80s, right?
I did, yeah. Sold a lot of drugs, yeah.
Okay, and probably '90s. You probably also remember. Remember when we completely eliminated racism? Like it was gone forever, for good. Like we never talked about it anymore. It was done. Do you remember that? Come on, Joe.
My mind is
80s,
breaking.
90s, 90s. Do you remember when like little white suburban kids were like gangster rappers and stuff like that because they loved the blacks so much?
I do it. There's a lot of that going on now.
Okay, so what happened, Joe? Like, why is racism on the talking table again? Like, didn't we kill this shit like 30 years ago?
Like Ben Shapiro said, we're more racist now after the civil rights. If so, then how did that happen, Joe?
Joe, we're more racist than the civil rights.
It's almost like they want it to be the case. Go ahead, Fi. Or go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, you guys are right. It's absolutely, and it always is. We're puppets, and we'll believe and go with any thing they put out there. But I don't share you guys' opinion. I'm a black dude. It's always been horribly racist. When I leave out of my neighborhood, you get pulled over immediately. 90-something% of the suburbs, 90-something% of the tickets were going to black people. When we made up at most in these suburbs, made 20% of the population. It's usually more like 5 to 10%. So that's what I grew up with. I'm used to. You can't go in certain neighborhoods and shit. I think it's better now.
But Joe, small rebuttal there. The same ghetto warriors that were fighting, screaming, "Fight the power and don't let the man, bring you down," or whatever, are now like multi-billionaires selling this image that we're still a racist country and you still need to fight whitey or whatever, even though they are more white than most black people I know.
We don't have a black leader. It's not a thing. They're all just corporate fucking puppets and slaves. I would agree with that.
Remember when Snoop Dogg was making brownies with Martha Stewart? That's when I had a moment where I was like, okay, now we've gone through the looking glass, and now we're no longer talking about any form of reality.
Or Ice-T playing a cop and all of that bullshit. You started gangster rap. 6 a.m, police at my door. Or Ice Cube doing that. Are we there yet? Shit. Yes, we've totally jumped the shark. Yeah.
Remember when Ice-T was singing about cop killer, and now he plays a cop on TV?
Yeah, that's interesting. Isn't it? So hold on, guys. We got somebody in the basement. White Knight. No, nothing bad can happen from this. can you put your camera on and do a little ditty? I need you to put 3 fingers to your forehead.
White knight.
And if you porn
Okay.
bomb us, we will find you.
Oh
Yes,
my goodness.
absolutely.
Whoever he is, he has a sense of humor.
The
Whoever.
cyber trees.
Oh,
the
okay.
cyber police will back
That's.
trace you.
And by the way, I'm not white. I'm actually Mediterranean. So please don't insult. Please don't insult my brown heritage. I would appreciate that.
Also, I've seen Joe. He's not black. He's more like mocha or something, you know. So don't call him black.
I'm the worst black representative. That's what I'm telling you.
So he says these white people on the panel seem racist to me. So
Right?
should we let him up?
I think we
it
got
sounds like
to,
a shitty troll to me, but maybe he's like a phi troll or something. Let's see. Go ahead.
Nah, I don't know if I want to risk it, man.
I just don't want you to get porn bombed because
put
I'm
your
restreaming
overlay.
this.
Put up your picture big or something, so you know he won't get the chance.
Just pay to boot him if he porn bombs you because I'm
So
restreaming.
he says Brown's boy yo. Okay, that sounds retarded, dude. Sorry, you got to go.
We have strict standards here, White Knight.
I just need. You either have to have a really cool laugh or you have to say something intelligent. Preferably both things like Joe Cool does at the same time.
Just lurk in the comments for a little longer. If you can convince him, you can come up.
No, I kicked him. I don't think that. I mean, if the guy comes in again, just listen, Brown's boy. If you're still in the chat, remember, if everything is racist, nothing is racist. Just understand that, okay?
The philosopher over there.
We're gonna go back to. We're going to go back to this real quick. I'm going to let this play for a second. Maybe we'll get some motivation from it.
Is this a new topic or same topic?
Be very careful how they message that to agents. According to
Would you say, based on that poof, I mean that man's mannerisms and behaviors, that he might have a little bit of a limp wrist situation going on there? That maybe he might be playing for a different kind of team than
fabulous,
sexy. Let's do the fork in the garbage disposal system. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
These videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates against whites, white men
took off, didn't
in particular.
What's going on, Pace? Get up here. See, look at, man, you're on my show. You got invited to my panel, and all you're trying to do is find out what time the military show is going to be. Based. Why don't you come up here and talk with your voice? And
I think he might be mentioning that we're going to do a panel later, GS.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. I think he's trying to find out like where it's going to be and stuff. So, but
I vote my channel, but you guys decide. I'm easy.
I don't mind going to your channel at all. I'll help you out. But I may or may not be out in the homestead, my little tiny 0.3 acre garden.
I don't know if I got
sort of like well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it, but as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male. That's not who they're looking to promote at the moment.
As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney. In fact, Michael actually got to experience Disney's discrimination against white males firsthand.
You know, I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in it.
Ooh, B-52's cover. Are you serious? Let's put the fork in the garbage disposal system was supposed to be a B-52. I love B-52s, man. All right, so you were saying something, Joe, before I rudely cut you off?
I was just saying, I don't know if I have iFi's channel. If you could put it in a regular chat, I could sub them from my other phone and make sure I get there and see them.
Let me hold on. Let me put it up. Let me open.
And I apologize for not subbing you. I didn't know you made content.
I understand you big guys don't know about it.
No, so I love how people say stuff like this. It's free speech. Well, first off, you spelled speech wrong. So I'm really looking. I don't understand. I understand mistakes, and I like peaches, but free speeches. Listen, man, you sound like you might be like really struggling on the genetics there. And I did warn in the beginning that the vast majority of people on YouTube are retarded, but not the people on my channel. I have the smartest audience. It is known. They come here for intelligent conversations.
I love that one Muslim dude who's always like, but the people that are retarded. He's my spirit animal.
Yeah, they are. Most of them are. I think the thing that makes me like choke and laugh and sputtle is when politicians go, the American people aren't as dumb as people think they are. I'm like, oh, that's way worse.
They're way dumber. You can't even imagine.
HR, and I have friends in the division. Look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for a shot. They're just not. That's not what they want.
They even passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion because they didn't look black enough.
We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a crazy.
Hey, iFi, type something in the chat real quick so I can go to your channel, so I can click on it, and because you have some weird. There it is. Okay,
no, I did. I put it in private chat.
Oh, private chat.
I put it in the comments. I don't know if
well, that made it real easy for me. I thought I was gonna have to do a lot of hard work there. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and post it here. That should hyperlink it for you. I don't even think I'm subscribed to you, dude. And I'm gonna.
That's why you all failed, GS.
There it is, right there. Okay, I'm gonna put all the alerts on.
This is why y'all are so behind the curve. If you sub to the one and only Fi, you would have all the answers.
Oh, gosh, there's like 2 based oracles on this planet.
Creative executive who was like, "We're not that's not what's going on." Like they wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting. I mean, it kind of feels like where.
It kind of reminds me of Josh from F3 a little bit. Except for a little bit more masculine.
At some point, there's going to be a lawsuit. That's kind of how it feels, just because of,
And that is a lawyer talking. So how does Disney explain pushing these discriminatory practices? They use code words and buzzwords.
I'm guessing that there is a.
By the way, for the record, I love Charles O'Keefe, who's about as Irish as I am Jewish. But I'm pretty sure that O'Keefe is pretty much mostly Jewish with an Irish last name. Love the man, love the work. Well done, you slay. You slay, my Jewish king.
Acceptable code words and buzzwords that are used to explain what they're looking for. They might say something like, look, we're not looking at the usual suspects for this job. So it's not a legally actionable thing.
Okay, I just. All right, I think I've heard enough. I don't think I can watch this guy gesticulate for another 2 minutes.
It wasn't because he's gay. Are we sure they didn't?
Yeah, I have to pray the gay away. I have to pray the gay away with all the gesticulation.
Mommy, who?
Yeah.
It's gone.
So I mean, the funniest thing in the army is we are the most homoerotic people on the face of the planet. I mean,
don't even get me started on the Navy.
Yeah, I mean, we would stack. Like I remember when I was with the 509th, there was this couch that was sitting there. I know it's a black couch, and I remember there was one dude was sitting on it, another dude climbed on his lap, reverse cowgirl, and another dude climbed on top of him, and they were thrusting and humping on each other, and just doing the most. And then I remember Wilson, this giant, massive black dude, Wilson, freaking awesome dude. He got called back in IRR. He had 8 kids, I think, and he was a pro boxer. This dude was, this guy was all of 265 pounds, hardly any fat on this dude.
Holy hell!
Yeah, the guy was just, it was just an amazing specimen of a man. And I remember we had this little kind of closet latrine where it was just the sink, the urinal, and then a shitter, and it was a little bit bigger than a little closet. And I remember one time. He comes in, he starts rubbing my shoulder. He's like, "Hey, Bryant." I mean, he's towering over me. I mean, I probably can see my dick in my hand, and he just starts rubbing on my shoulders and stuff. He's like, "Hey, Bryant, how you doing?" I was like, "What's up, Wilson?" And it was at that moment where I realized, dude, if I was in prison right now and he wanted a little taste, I'd hope he'd get to it. I'd hope that he would get to it a little bit before it got fucking cold, because I would probably struggle until he'd have to kill me. But I'd be like, that dude would turn me into a pretzel. Probably one of the nicest dudes I ever met in my entire life. Hell of a man, great father. It sucked because he had this crazy career going boxing. He was making so much money, and then he went back down to specialist pay. And I was just like, dude, with 8 kids. But anyway, he got recalled for the war on terrorism and stuff. But anyway, that was one of my stories from that moment. But it was at that moment where I realized there are some men out there that you kind of can't say no to if they want to say yes.
I want to comment on what you did, the clip you just showed, and I'll be honest again. And it's because I'm petty or something. It's childhood trauma or whatever. I liked seeing that white dude. They won't give me a job because I'm white, and I enjoyed that. I don't know if it's because I'm petty. It's probably because I don't know what it is. It's the bully shit or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's not against the law. I think it's called Schadenfreude. I think that's the German term for it, Schadenfreude.
Well, I heard it when you said it. That
you
was the first time I heard it when you said it, I think.
Yeah, Schadenfreude is getting pleasure from the pain and the suffering of other people.
Yeah, well, then I know it is definitely sick. And I'm confident I'll get over it because I'm a good guy. But I know when I'm yelling at cops, it's from fucking trauma. I don't want to be that guy. I didn't envision myself as the guy who yells at cops and says, blow me. I thought I'd be saying intellectual shit. And as soon as I get disrespected, I fucking zone out and lose my fucking mind. I know that, this is wrong and all of that. But I don't like those fucking laws that came up, the civil rights shit, where, you put people over. And I understand why you did it, because motherfuckers just will not and still won't hire black motherfuckers equally. So I understand why you did it, but I thought it was a bad move. And here, I'm just watching people be clumsy again, people trying to solve this issue clumsily again. It's kind of entertaining to watch, and I'm not adult enough to figure it out. I don't know
Can you explain what you mean by that, Joe? They're trying to clumsily solve what issue about the problem that white people are being shat upon right now?
No, the issue that now it's getting more political. It used to be just white people don't hire black motherfuckers. Now it's more political. So we have to hire more blacks, more trans. If we can kill two birds with one stone, get a trans and a black woman. I mean, man, it's kind of humorous watching these clowns trip over each other.
I think you're talking about DEI, Joe. Cool is what you're referring to.
Yeah, it's diversity, equity, and inclusion, which means everybody but whitey.
Sounds like a mistake to me, but I will just like if Trump becomes president, I will get some entertainment out of it. But it's a bad idea. I need us to get rid of that race shit, be brothers. I don't know if I got to bring a bunch of blacks and Hispanics into the country to fuck all the white women. And then once we're all got Hispanic and Asian kids, we can get over it. As it stands now, I don't know how to get over it. And I've seen some really good studies nowadays. I this might surprise you, maybe not so. GS, they're coming out really good studies that show the racism in every fucking state now. How blacks are getting shitty. There's a good one from Phoenix came out yesterday. Really good ones from Connecticut, Chicago.
What kind of stats are we talking about? Like crime stats or what?
Yeah, and both of them are crime cops. The one from Connecticut was that it's Connecticut, so it's mostly white people. But they had given so many tickets to black people.
I was born and raised in Connecticut. It was about as lily white as you can get, dude. And I go back to visit every now and then. I'm looking around going, what the fuck, dude?
There goes the neighborhood.
I'm visiting. I got buddies there. But to give you an idea, Connecticut, they wrote so many tickets that when the year end came around, they thought they were going to get busted for giving so many tickets to black people, which was such a small representation of the population, that they started in batches making tickets. 60,000, I think, was the first batch to all fictional white people to try to average out the stats, and make it look like they were equal giving out tickets. And then they did it again with 40 or 30,000. And they got, of course, busted, and that shit was all. And the one in Phoenix was that even though blacks make up, I don't know, 22% of the population or something, they get 37% of all traffic tickets and search more. And they had the white people and the Hispanics and whatever races they had in this study. They were all equal to the representatives, how they represented the population, how they got pulled over, ticketed, as you would expect. White people were always lower and black people were always higher. And they're trying to figure out how to prevent that shit.
Yeah, correlation doesn't always equal causation. But I don't know. I mean, I think I do think there's some truth to a lot of this stuff. I mean, stereotypes are mired in some truth. The white man can't dance.
So my
black men have small penises. I mean, there's a lot of truth in a lot of these stereotypes. Go ahead, Fi.
My first question, whenever someone starts talking about stats, is, for example, like arrest rates or ticket rates or whatever. My first question is, were they committing those crimes? Because again, if we're talking about, accurate crime enforcement, not blind, regardless of who was getting the tickets, were the criminals getting the tickets. And then we can look at, have a blind study and say, oh, by the way, it was this group versus that group. That's a neat study.
So just so I'm
Go ahead.
clear with you, are you saying that out of these people getting pulled over, how many of them, I was just assuming they're getting over for traffic infractions. You're
Right.
saying that perhaps they threw in some legit criminals in there that got pulled over, and that added to the
I can do this from any perspective you want, Joe. We could look at it from a cultural point of view. So like, let's say you're a cop and
Please don't say
you
that.
got a quota to fill. Your sergeant said you need to write 10 tickets by the end of the day. And
Right.
so you're gonna patrol the city looking for someone to arrest. And so by the way, I'll give you 2 cars. Both windows are completely tinted and you can't see inside the vehicle at all.
Okay.
One car is lowered with ground effects and is blaring out the woofers, dum, 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 dum. And another car is like a Honda Civic and with no modifications whatsoever. Not Honda Civic, a Toyota Camry with no modifications whatsoever.
Why not a soccer mom van with tinted windows?
Because I'm making it more comparable.
I see where you're going.
Within reason, GS. Like you know who's in the van, but you don't know who's in the Camry versus the who.
Right.
What's the lowered car? Honda Civic, with ground effects and neon lights and the
sounds like an Asian though to me, man.
Well, there you go, GS. Do you know until you pull them over? So,
but not if the windows are black. However,
if they're both tinted
and you
can't see inside the car, you can't see who is driving the car. All you see is just the car itself. And so, obviously, the thumper is getting pulled over, and because there's drugs in the car, and there's a 50% chance one of the passengers in the car has a warrant or something like that. So it's like. It's just very obvious answers. And now you may say that's racist, but guess what race?
Wait.
Of this
I didn't say it's racist. I'm with GS. I assume it's some poor white guy or some Asian.
It might be. It might be Eminem.
But he still gets pulled over because he's of that culture. He's less likely to have
culture. Thank you.
Yes.
Boom, right there. Thank you.
Okay, Joe. So now we pulled the car over, and Eminem's driving. And Joe Cool's in the back seat, and there's other people involved. Okay, so now the cop does a real quick background check, and Eminem just has like petty stole some candy from a 7-Eleven or something like that. But Joe Cool has been causing a lot of trouble doing auditing and shit and really pissing off all the police officers. So he's already on the list. And so guess who's getting the ticket in this situation, Joe?
It's going to be Eminem because I'm not IDing shit. He get mine the hard way.
Oh, so you're resisting? Or are you obstructing my investigation?
Stop resisting.
Are you obstructing my investigation?
I am in the back seat. You get it the hard way. I'm in the back seat. I have no obligation, no duty to give you a damn thing.
I don't think Joe. I don't think you understand this exchange. I got 10 tickets to write, and I can't get anything on Eminem. And so Joe Cool's already on my list. We already know who you are, motherfucker. We got your picture. You're on our little billboard back at the office as arrest this motherfucker for any reason. Just find a reason.
Yeah.
And so, oops, I threw a little baggie in the back seat, and there you go.
I get it. So that was to say what? My analogy was black people getting pulled over more, and your analogy is what? The culture means we're more apt to be criminal?
I showed you purely cultural, the difference. And by the way, those roles could have been reversed. It could have been Joe Cool driving and Eminem in the back seat.
But this was supposed to be a commentary on my remark about black people getting pulled over more. And I'm not sure you didn't draw the thread distinctly.
I did. The lowriders, the thumping lowriders are 99% of the time black people driving.
So you were agreeing with me that black people do get pulled over more?
For various reasons, yes.
All right. Yes, I would agree with that, mostly because we're poor. My uncle won't be a lawyer or a judge. You know, the more means a person has, the more chance it is that he's going to complain. Black people historically don't complain. We're used to getting our asses whooped. Your odds of getting away with it are better with a poor person or a black motherfucker. However, I love when people jump to those arguments without admitting the obvious that, yeah, there's some racism going in there. And then there's because of the money and the so-and-so and the culture. But yeah, racism, right, is number one when we look at these stats. Yeah.
Also, you already skimmed over another variable that I could easily address, like just neighborhoods alone. Like if I just targeted a neighborhood, you already know what's going to happen. You know who's in what neighborhoods. And so, again, I got 10 tickets to write. Which neighborhood am I going to go to start writing tickets?
Your boss is going to tell you to go. I got some good videotape of the New York motherfuckers, or them telling their guys, listen, man, when you fall low on your quota, they call them job goals, achievement goals, or something like it's job security, but they got a euphemism for it. Your job goals instead of saying quota, because quota is illegal. But I also got the union guy telling them, listen, you're supposed to have 30 summonses, X amount of arrests, and this amount every month. And then they tell them when you run low, go to the black community and just write them out. Stop everybody. This is where they deserve it anyway. All of this shit's on tape, and that's the attitude nationwide that black people get the short version of.
And keep voting Democrat.
So I'd highly recommend you all check out this show called Fleckus Talks. They always have like an Urban Decay and a Cringe of the Week. And there's just a never-ending flow of brand new videos coming out they're a twice a week show, and they usually have about a good eight different Urban Decay things. I wonder if was this just black dudes just kind of walking around the city minding their own business? I'm just curious. I just want to see the panel's reaction.
Causing trouble.
I'm going with the dog. I'm siding with the dog. All right, our first clip of Urban Decay. This section is our girls getting punched section.
Yeah, white girl knockout game.
White girl knockout game, basically. In New York City, there's this new trend where street rats and homeless people.
Isn't that your neck of the woods there, Joe?
He's in Chicago.
I was growing weed.
Chicago.
Yeah, I'm straight grinding up weed. I was bad.
Okay, listen, I want the TDLR. Too long didn't read on Chicago pizza. Chicago pizza. Are you like a fan of it, or are you like more traditional?
I like New York better. I like thin crust with so much meat and grease on there. You got to dab it and shit. The pieces should barely stand up because all the meat and extra shit on there.
And you got to fight off a rat to eat that piece. You know?
Hey!
Chicago has
friends. Joe and I can be friends. You watch your horse now.
Chicago has a great argument though. Our fucking deep dish, you don't find it nowhere else on the planet. It's incredible.
I'm gonna have to take a trip up there and actually try some legit deep dish or something.
It's worth it.
Yeah, I'll have to try it out. All right, here we go.
And drug addicts are just punching innocent girls. Look at this compilation.
I was literally just walking, and a man came up and punched me in the face. Oh my God, it hurts so bad.
Last week, I was assaulted in New York City, as you can kind of see here with my black eye.
I literally just got punched by some man on the sidewalk. He goes, sorry, and then.
Do you remember when we were talking earlier? Because I'm gonna let this play again. But you remember how this like when Joe said you got 5'3" Oompa Loompa baby gap jump boot wearing generally specific standing next to a giant tree of a man who happens, and one's white and the other one's black, and it's pretty obvious that they're two different things, and there might be some descriptions that might be important so that I'm not getting tased for something Joe did or vice versa, right? So
agreed.
These people just seem to say I got attacked by some strange person. There's no other description. Is your virtue signaling
very good? Yes, very
is
good.
Your virtue signaling liberal ass so fucking indoctrinated that you don't have the wherewithal, the ability to say anything other than some dude what, you can't say a black dude attacked you? Because
very good.
I'm pretty sure it was a black dude.
To be fair, it could have been Eminem. GS, you don't know.
It could have been Eminem. It could have been. It could have been.
punches me in the head.
And she's
So
smiling.
I just got punched
like,
in the face.
I deserve this.
Walking
I'm a dumb
home,
white
I was
bitch.
literally like,
So yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, and it was just some black guy.
Every time.
So yeah, New York Post called it a political fringe candidate or something, and it was like Skoborski or something. I forgot his name, but we meant to cover this last Friday, and it's not exactly up to date, but we have to cover this for like the consistency of the show, So white girl knockout game happened.
Yeah, and there was a tweet about it that kind of went hand in hand.
So many videos going around of girls in NYC getting punched in the head, and it's terrible and scary. But at what point are we perpetuating right-wing reactionary crime panic instead of keeping ourselves safe?
It is right.
Listen, ladies. Listen, you dumb liberal Democratic voting women in these big cities that voted for this nonsense. What you need to do is you need to go to your local gym and you need to learn how to duck, dive, dodge, dip, and weave. That's what you need to do.
A wrench. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a punch.
Exactly, Joe.
Dance like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yeah, come on, get with the program. I mean, it's how dare you have the entitlement to keep your head still and then blame that poor black man for making him hurt his fist on your face. You should dodge it.
She was hit too hard in the head. She couldn't apparently identify him as a black man. Remember,
Right.
she left that part out.
Somebody
hit me. It was somebody.
Yeah, it's called cripple liberalism that prevents her from actually having her eyes work to see
How
color.
is this not entertaining, right? People are dumb. It's kind of entertaining, like watching fat people fall down. It's sad, but it's entertaining.
I agree. I just saw somebody.
GS, I think
fat lady fall on she had a plastic bag in front of her, and she took 2 steps out of her front door, and her boyfriend was much thinner than her, and they were getting ready to walk to the door, and she fell on it, and the bag went. And he looked down at her as she was like groaning. He goes, "Are you for real?" She's like, "Kinda, yeah." And then she rolled over to try to get up.
How's that not funny?
It was hilarious.
It's right wing's fault.
Can't give the right wing a dub because there's some black guy trying to knock out white women. So, I mean, that's what some people are up to. Their ideology, it's like, I called it oppositional defiant disorder, where they're just, no matter what, like if the right wing is in on something, I'm going to have to take the it's debate club instead of like your life and rules to live by, right? Yeah. It's debate club where you just have to take the opposite of whatever the right wing says, even though white girls are getting swung on, right?
Exactly. So the worst part of innocent women being attacked is the right wing can use these videos as evidence that the left wing's policies don't work.
Yeah. And then
that's the worst part of it.
Exactly.
Not the people getting literally beat up.
And then even still, some of the white girls still have this like woke mentality. This was an update from one of the girls in the main puncher video that I want to show.
There were 2 reasons why I didn't share the location or the description of this man. One was that I don't remember what he looked like. It happened so quick. And 2, I just didn't think everyone should be focusing on one person, but just so everyone has a better awareness of their surroundings in general. The cops did end up finding this man.
She didn't want people to focus on the puncher,
the one person who's punching people,
the one mystery guy who's capable of swinging on petite white girls.
Like, hey, if you're in downtown financial district of New York City, there's a man
between 34th and 22nd Street is where he hangs out.
He's a 6'2", black, skinny.
She just wants people to be broadly safer. And then that was a thing. None of these girls said the guy's race. Nobody wanted to help. Every girl is a chain in the like, someone else is going to get punched before it gets solved.
This shit is sus, man. They're very sus to me now. No one is that virtuous or whatever they're saying. And this just doesn't happen. I would doubt it. I want to see video.
Dude.
No.
It's called indoctrination. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying overall.
Just the chicks talking about it. I've never seen anyone who was a victim, unless they wanted to kill a person later, not say, it was that dude over there. He looked like this. It's just not a thing. And then someone's so virtuous. No, I want peace in the world, so I didn't want to give a descriptor. That shit cannot be fucking real.
It might be real, Joe, because again, you have to remember these liberal white women are the same ones that are saying they feel guilty about all the racism, so they feel like it's their fault they got punched and they deserved it. And so
maybe when the population dies off from our stupidity is when the racism will end, because we are really dumb.
Oh, definitely.
I agree. You got something down in the basement there. I'm not going to.
Yeah. I can. This is my spirit animal. Like I said, he can summarize it for you.
Okay. Well, is it a TOS issue for me?
No. It's
okay.
just.
So
it's
1 second. I'm
purely.
gonna let this play real cool. We'll get done with Urban Decay and then we'll check that out.
By not naming or giving a description or trying to warn people exactly
It's
what
exactly
is going
what
on.
Joe was talking
and
about.
It was the same guy.
It's
4 for 4.
ridiculous.
This guy he hit a 4-piece. He hit for the cycle on these white girls,
and he doesn't get in trouble. And those are the same girls that probably want to protest and call about the tampon.
I don't know. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But when it comes to political discussions like this, they all get labeled because obviously, as we've shown on the show before, women are trending socialist in all Western countries. They're trending left, right?
And look at this clip. This woman was attacked by a repeat offender. Look what happened here.
This is a different New York puncher.
Different puncher.
It is a random, unprovoked, vicious attack on a 57-year-old woman in Brooklyn. Watch as the suspect ignores another man walking nearby, then punches the woman in her face, causing her to stumble backwards.
What happened? Why you leaving?
So, I mean, and that's a Hispanic woman in New York, too. But, I mean, I sit here and I ask myself this question, and it was kind of like what we originally started with, where the Ben Shapiro quote. Are you telling me that America in 2024 is more racist than after the civil rights movement in the 60s? And if so, how did that happen?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I would disagree with that, right? It can't be more racist than...
So my question here is this is either just crippling mental illness, and that seems to be very rampant in one particular race on the streets of New York, which seems to be the usual suspect kind of situation going on here, or there's something to it. So two things, 4 is equal to 4 can't be true and false at the same time. You can't tell me that you're walking around scared shitless of being yanked into a cop car, and then you're just randomly popping women, 54-year-old women in the face in the middle of the street. I mean, one thing says I got a giant fucking chip on my shoulder and fuck you. That's why. And the other one says you're a fucking liar. So, it's like, you see what I'm saying? Because, I'm
not sure. I'm not sure I am.
So what I'm saying is I've never seen more emboldened people in my entire life than the black race right now. I've never seen a more emboldened people than blacks in America.
Are you new to this knockout game? You haven't seen the
no, that's been going on for a long time.
Yes. Have you seen the thousands of white people just knocking out ladies?
Yeah, but who goes to jail? The white people or the black people?
I don't know, but I'm just trying to address.
I've yet to see.
Like GS thinks it's only black people do this.
Listen, I've yet to see a single video of that happening. Matter of fact, it seems to me that I can see 99 unique black on white violent crimes to every one unique white on black crime. Matter of fact, according to the FBI stats, that I am 40 times more likely to be attacked by someone that looks like you, Joe, than you are to be attacked by someone that looks like me. 40 times.
I think the woman situation is more unique, GS, because again, you're looking at overlapping ideologies. We're still talking about the Me Too crowd as well. So we're always to believe women, what happens when they do correctly identify the person that punched them? So see, now you have a conflict of interest, and so they don't know how to put one and one together. So they're just like, fuck it, skip it. It never happened.
And I'm slow on GS stat just hit my head because I'm smoking. I think you said a white guy is 40 times more likely to be killed by a brother than his own race.
No, I didn't say killed. I said attacked.
Oh, attacked. All right. I'd like to see that stat because
it was in the FBI. Yeah, it came out in the FBI about 10 years ago, but now the FBI is purposely trying to ignore certain crime stats because it's artificially. Well, it's not artificially. It's
racist.
It used to accurately show what the demographics were doing and who was responsible for most of the crimes. Right. Matter of fact, I in the same show that I'm watching right now, they have, and I'm trying to find the actual releases on it. They're trying to bury it through Google.
But Joe,
they're taking black and brown people that they're putting into the jail system, and they're calling them white in order to artificially
make it look like they're
pushing
white.
The stats to make it seem like it's a little bit more even, and there's less. Yeah. So like, I mean, the level of dishonesty that's going on, Joe Cool, is absolutely staggering to me.
It is, and a lot of that we have to go by what we see and know, and also we have to do independent shit. You know, even if it's watch videos, we can't just confirm our biases. We have to watch what's going on, and you know, we get YouTube and shit like that to see what's going on too. Because I'm agreeing with you. Any stat can be represented any way, and right now the environment is so political. Everybody's puppets and will say anything. Stats are less and less reliable. I'd agree with that shit.
Yeah, and it's because man's manipulate them. And I like what you said in the beginning. Regardless of the color of our skin, and you said these are your words, and please correct me if I'm wrong. You said I consider UGS my brother.
1,000%, just like my real brother. Yeah,
and I like that. I really do like that, and I feel the same way.
My man.
But there are some people out there that they take one look, and I tell my wife this. My wife I've never heard my wife say a racist thing in her entire life. She is my better in pretty much every possible way you could imagine.
I like it.
And the unfortunate thing is that I've had to explain it to her. I said, if shit hits the fan at some point in time in the future, honey, they ain't gonna look at your character. They're gonna take a look at your skin color, and they're gonna say, "Fuck this white bitch," and they're gonna deal with you.
Well, welcome to America, Mrs. GS wife, because y'all been saying fuck these black motherfuckers. It's not that big. What y'all crying about forever. My sympathy is low here.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying is this. If life is a race and winning is how you get rewarded, why the fuck do I have to run my race in a burlap sack so you can catch the fuck up to me?
Yes. I get you.
And now you want to gloat, and now you want to kind of gloat because Jackie Robinson and his wife used to have to cross the street in the 50s because they didn't want to risk offending a white person. And now I'm showing you a video of a Hispanic lady minding her own business getting sucker punched by a black dude on the street. So what was it? Was it better in the 50s when black people didn't want to offend white people or anyone else and would cross the street out of fear of having any retribution? Or is it safer now on the streets in New York when some fucking homeless degenerate can just fucking punch a woman in the face of all things for no reason, no provocation?
That's been going on the entire time. I know as a kid, that was a thing. Me and every person I know, you know, you would punch drunks, gay people. It was a thing when you were young, dumb.
Yeah, I never did any of that.
Yeah, it was certainly shit we did. As a young motherfucker, I regret all of that shit, but I don't think it's new. You're right. No motherfuckers are just getting punched in the face.
So the premise, but Joe, the premise is this: as a predominantly white country, was it better for white people back when black people would cross the street out of fear of offending a white couple? Or is it better now when some 74-year-old white woman walking back with her one bag of groceries that she can afford because she's on a permanent budget and she has to choose between 3 different medications and she can only pick one because that's all she can afford with Social Security, and then some jackass comes and knocks her out?
Well, this is Trump Biden, because you gave me a really, first of all, both are horrible options. And you gave me a really good description of one, the poor white lady. But the black guy who had to avert his eyes, his story didn't end or begin that day. He wasn't able to get a job. His family can't eat, all of that shit, leading to why he had to avert his eyes. Which one is worse? I'd rather that a woman, and please forgive me, Lord, get hit on that one day and get a chance of bouncing back than some guy he's averting his eyes because for the last, I don't know how many years, him and everyone looks like him has been beaten, oppressed, and all of that shit. And he knows if he looks up, it will happen again. You know, now they become more equal, and both are horrible options, and I wouldn't want to see that happen.
Poor choice of example, GS. Choice.
I'm really trying to understand your and like I'm not trying to be obtuse. I genuinely I don't know what you mean about averting your eyes. Can you please take a little bit more time and expound on that?
Yeah, that's why Emmett Till always comes up. My mom and dad, I'm from Chicago. That.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Now I understand what you mean. Okay, about moving off the side. Well, I got you now. Okay.
Yes, you wouldn't allow. My old man taught me that looking up. My old man come up in that era, and he's from the South. Him and my mom, and you respected white folks. It was disgusting their fear of white folk, and you'd get some backlash when you put all these black people who are told these things in a group where they don't have to do it. It's like putting a bunch of motherfuckers in jail. Now they suddenly become emboldened. It's the same shit over here, and all the guards you put in are white. It's the same thing over here. It was a horrible fucking experiment to let occur. Right, and that's just what happened when you do that shit. You get rid of all the jobs, the dads, and you get a bunch of people to watch, white people to watch over these black young men. Basically, it's going to be catastrophic because I know us. We're going to like really act up.
Yeah, GS, I just want to jump in real quick and say I can't believe you made me agree with Joe Cool, but
right, hate that.
So, Joe, I think GS, you would generally agree that all of us are not a fan of the whole slavery history, the whole civil rights debacle, all the way up to the point where we finally got our shit straight and started to treat people equally and all that stuff. And so I'm sitting here trying to lecture Joe Cool about how just because the stats don't work in your favor today, because it is pointing out obviously it's a lot of black on black crime, and there still is institutional racism, mostly from the left wing, white or black.
I love the way he put the politics and everything. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I love it.
And so, see, I'm trying to lecture him, but then you go and play that stupid slavery civil rights card, and obviously that's a worse example. I'm obviously going to defend Joe on that one.
All right, bring it up to something.
I would definitely
hold up. What do you, the 50s is when slavery ended?
No, civil rights, dude. We were still in the civil rights.
No, civil rights was in the 60s.
Right, the transition
even
from
better,
slavery to
it's like you're kind of painting me with a brush that I didn't use, bro.
One more time, GS.
It makes the point though, because
hold on.
I'm sorry.
One more time, GS. The slavery to the civil rights era, starting with slavery, ending with civil rights.
Now I'm tracking.
We're talking about. We're in that time period.
Now I'm tracking.
Okay.
That makes more
sense.
sense.
Anyways, if you're gonna do that example, obviously I agree with Joe. I would rather some old lady get punched because of overcorrective civil rights rather than still in the transition from slavery to civil rights.
Yeah, that was
obviously the black people are getting the short end of the stick unfairly, unjustly. Right. And so that's
can
that
I say
example.
something here? Because
I would agree with that assessment. Yeah, I would agree with that assessment of both parts. Go ahead.
Coming off
Joe.
looking bad, and I'll continue to come off look bad because I'm having fun in this conversation. But I want my genuine shit. It is better now. Shit, I hate to even use the word white people, black people, because we're the same. Even as a descriptor, I think it fails here. So I'll say people in general are better towards people along that race issue. Black and white both are better. And I think if all of us don't get there, we will. Most of us will. I got hope. The kids now, I love when the white kids be like singing in that car, yeah, pop that nigga, I see that nigga, and say the fucking word, because we're all the same. I think it's going fucking great. However, during this conversation, I will pick on the smaller instances of where kids feel like they're able to run up on my grown ass and call me the hard ER, when they see me and run off and shit. Oh, it's just horrible. Still, being a black dude, all the fucking racist bullshit you get. And I travel alone. I get so many fucking comments and shit. Women, kids, just walk past, nigger. Hi, I'm sorry. Hi, don't say that. Oh, fuck that. I can't stand those fucking so-and-sos. It's still rampant. However, it's better, and I'm hopeful, and I think it's going to be great. And you guys are fucking absolutely great. God has blessed me with meeting some of the best motherfuckers. And here I'm going to use the scripture. White motherfuckers, you guys do so much for your race. And I'm talking dumb here because there is no race. But you guys are great, shining fucking examples. All of you niggas nowadays. At least the people I hang out with.
You're
love
welcome,
you guys.
Joe.
You're the
You're
greatest.
welcome.
Including you, and niggas hate that fire. I think he's the greatest.
You're welcome, bro. You're welcome, brother. There's one correction to GS.
I'm so scared. I'm so afraid.
For the video.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say one correction to GS. I won't call you brother yet. You're my homie, Joe, but I have standards, and you got to go to the same church if I'm gonna call you brother. So
we can talk about it.
We'll talk about that in another stream. But go back to the video, GS. Go ahead.
We'll say Pichardo was on the receiving end of that punch. Her mouth now wired shut, her face fractured in several places, drinking food out of a straw for 6 weeks, permanent damage to her lower lip. 3 teeth knocked out, and she might need surgery. The suspect was charged with misdemeanor assault, meaning he's not bail eligible. He'll be released back onto the street. And that's the part that has the victim and her family frustrated and afraid.
So he punched her in the face.
Random, just some 56-year-old woman.
Knocked her teeth out, fractured her jaw, wired mouth shut, can't eat, has to drink out of a straw for 6 weeks, and he gets let right back out.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things that obviously we always talk about bail reform and how bad it is, and how now we talked about the dismembered Long Island bodies and how technically, since no one was charged with murder, they couldn't hold them on bail. But another thing with crimes like these, I want to talk about the right-wing vision for running a city, which would have enhancements, right?
I was going to ask y'all.
We've talked about that with George.
That was the question. I was just waiting for the video to end to ask you guys, because, you know, the left wing, you know, the situation is fucked up. Y'all keep voting for these Democrats. What changes would the right wing institute? And he's asking that same question.
I don't know that.
I'll answer that, Joe. There is no right wing. I don't know how many times I have to explain this. There is only center left wing, which you people keep calling the right wing.
Right.
And there is the also left wing. They're all the same uniparty. They're just selling you all this, you know, narrative bullshit, so you feel like your vote matters and like they have someone to blame.
Tribalism.
So Joe, here's the secret trick. When you're a uniparty, if you fuck up everything, your head is going to roll. Everyone's going to know who's causing the problem. If there's only one party, if it's just, you know, the king and his party.
I understand.
Okay, so here's how you create the illusion that there are two parties. It's the same people. They say, okay, you guys are going to wear blue shirts and you guys are going to wear red shirts. And we're going to pretend like you guys are fighting each other. One team is fighting for, you know, like gays and you know, anti-war or whatever. You know, we'll just make up some bullshit, random bullshit. And this other party loves Jesus and freedom and guns and shit. And so they got their little talking points. They got enough distractions to get all the sheep in the world to like be like, yeah, my vote matters. I'm going to make change in my country. Meanwhile, jack shit changes every time you vote for either party. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It doesn't matter if you vote for.
I don't disagree with a word you said. I'm glad to hear you say that.
There you go.
1000% agree.
So see, every time they say it's the right wing's fault, and they'll even push it even further and say, see, these alt-right people, by the way, I'll tell you what the alt-right is code for. But anyways, so the right-wing people are the bad guys for the Democrats. You know, the Democrats are just these peace-loving hippies that just want to protect the environment and care about black people and the gays. And meanwhile, these red-wing bullies want to, like, you know, curb stomp the gays. And
that is the narrative, yes.
Yeah, and melt all the trees and shit. And so that's why you got to vote Democrat. Meanwhile, they tell the red color shirts, you can't let these degenerates, you know, destroy your beautiful nation. We got to use our guns to go fight oil wars in the Middle East. And these peace-loving hippies are trying to stop us from spreading democracy and freedom all over the world.
All right, let me interrupt you. Maybe you're very sharp, clearly. And I realize that I was probably a little traumatized by the shit I get in my comment section with all that right-wing, left-wing bullshit. Maybe that would have been better addressed to GS. I think GS is a little more believing that left-wing, right-wing illusion than you. GS with the
wrong again, Joe. you could
okay, let me ask the
wrong,
question
man.
so everybody knows. One more sentence.
I mean, it's like it's like a gift, man. Do you remember? Well, hold on. Do you remember in the beginning when I said? Do you remember in the beginning when I said pretty much everyone in my orbit has gotten shit wrong about me over the last month, not including you, Joe? Well, now it includes you.
I'm okay with that. That's life. I'm okay with that.
It's like people's job to get shit wrong about me. No, I was a classic liberal.
Wait. Let's not.
I voted democratically my entire life, and
I've recently. I want to comment on what you just said before we go off.
I've recently converted to I'm an independent, and I think it's this.
Yes. Let him interject.
Hey, Fi, guess what, man? This is my show.
You're covering a lot of points. He wants to address you're saying.
So basically what I'm saying is I agree exactly with what Fi just said. So
all right, well, I'm gonna put you on a little bit. And to the first one, you're not special. Everyone misjudges everyone. Stop being so sensitive about it. It's not a
I'm
big
not being
deal.
sensitive, Joe. It's a red herring. Continue. Go ahead.
No, okay, all right. I don't mean to piss you off, but I get misjudged
All
in
right,
my opinion all the time.
again. Stop
Not a
again with
thing.
the nonsense.
We
Just say
don't
what
even
it is
have
you're
to
going to
talk
say,
about
Joe.
it. No, that was important, or else I wouldn't have said it.
All right, you don't need to put a tissue or a little nappy underneath my nose before you tell me what the fuck you got to say, Joe. Just say what the fuck you got to
because
say.
you're cursing and calling my shit nonsense and talking over me suddenly. You didn't like that shit.
I didn't say nonsense. Go ahead and present your argument, Joe.
Somebody
I'm
in the
waiting
chat
with
back it up
bated
and
breath.
see if he said while I talk my nonsense. See if I'm right, if he's wrong.
Guys, save it for the next stream. Save it for the next stream. We're gonna get into all
so
this.
here's the simple question: is there if the right wins or the left? We're not talking about all the other stuff. Will one of them do better to change the situation here in urban Chicago?
Are you
either one of you? I won't GS answer first.
No.
Everything is exactly as they intended to be.
Very good.
Everything is exactly as they intended to be. It's in a state of function or dysfunction based on the powers that narrate it to be.
All right, you both have
here you go, Joe. I don't want to black pill you. Here's your white pill.
Okay.
It is physically possible that I could become emperor of your country in the next week or so.
Yeah.
Short of that, if you can vote for Ron Paul and get him into the White House, you might have a snowball's chance in hell of actually getting out of this stuff. So, anyways, good luck.
At some point, I'll come over to your room when you get some free time. I want to go through this libertarian shit.
We'll go over that. I don't want to do GS's stream, and plus we got
not now, but I need a whole schooling on it.
I'm actually going to be ending kind of soon here. I just want to finish this little urban thing, and then we can.
And you need to hop over to base stream because you're one of the main topics. GS. So you need to come over there.
I'm really not interested in being the main topic. I think people need to get their own content and stop talking about me so much.
Gascon and how he doesn't do gang enhancements for criminals anymore, and the criminals are like on the phone calling their mom like, "I'll be out next week."
George
Gascon, he's the best. And so what Gascon doesn't do is enhancements, right? And I think there should be enhancements on a crime for a ton of different little things. Like the woman's 56 years old, enhancement. She's a weak woman. That's enhanced, compared to a man, right?
It wasn't like a fight that happened. It was a random attack. Enhancement.
Yeah. You're with the boys doing it. You rob someone with 3 people, boom, enhancement. Because you're a known troublemaker if you have a crew of 3 guys that you're willing to commit a felony with.
She had injuries that are blah, 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 wired shut, horrible things, enhancement.
Yeah. So I have a dream of this world where there's a ton of enhancements for all these little micro things. And then the only time you don't get an enhancement is like if you attacked an able-bodied man who was there to fight back and like saw you coming
and said, "Let's do this."
Mutual combat now. That's the only time there's no enhancement.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
But and then there actually are enhancements in a lot of jurisdictions for someone over the age of 60. Mm-hmm. Like they do violations for the elderly. But this woman just misses it, and she's got her jaw wired shut like Kanye drinking out of a straw. And this guy, they go ahead. Hope you don't do it again. That's basically what the state of New York is saying. Hope you don't do it again, right?
So you just attacked an innocent lady, blindsided her. You hopefully you won't do it again.
Yeah.
It's like the first time was the proof that he'll do it.
Yeah. And but fortunately for us, there are some cities that are kind of like working hard on this
to try and solve it.
Yeah, they're trying to solve it.
Chicago, is that the BART? Or
no,
that's San Francisco?
San Francisco's the BART.
San Francisco's trying to solve it with their new system where they give out cards for people who are being harassed. Check this out.
Hello, we're 2 college students who are BART riders. And safety is really important to us, so we're going to go ask for the bystander intervention cards. Hello, excuse me, will we be able to have some bystander intervention cards, please?
Yeah, sure. Hang on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So this card over here is for when you're being harassed. It says, "You got me." So you'd hand it to somebody else, and it gives them instructions on.
This is like Cards Against Humanity or some shit. Like, I mean, what?
I don't know what it is yet, right? It's so freaky.
it's like the stop, don't touch me there. This is my no square with the freaking
right.
their anti "don't rape me" thing and
right.
fucking
Does the
all over
card
the Islam.
explode? You throw it at the attacker and it blows them up. How's this card gonna help?
I mean, I don't even. This is just like
Is
we're
it
not even in
laced
the
with
real world.
poison or acid or something? You can fight with it.
All right, here we go. This is almost done. Sorry,
Jackson impersonator who had like 50
Yeah,
Reddit
this is the
posts
Michael
about how much
Jackson
of a
guy.
menace he was and how he terrorized people. But they didn't have a BART card, so Daniel Penny had to choke him out.
Yeah.
But she could pardon him, but she doesn't, because you know why? New York loves the wasteland. They like when illegals are in the hotels and white people are scared to intervene on the subway.
Exactly. Well, St. Louis has a plan. They have a plan for the crime that everyone's seeing. Look what the mayor of St. Louis said.
Will not be the last engagement, but that we will continue to lean in.
Mayors and leaders from Jackson, Mississippi, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Durham, St. Louis, and more meeting Wednesday and Thursday to talk crime and solution. St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones says she's taking back strategies used in Atlanta for nightclub owners and eyeing ways to reduce crimes around.
Look at all the white people just gathering together, trying to have a conference about how to stop crime in their shit fucking lib cities. Huh.
Convenience stores.
We have a lot of violence around convenience stores and gas stations. So how can we hold those business owners accountable and also bring down crime? And then some of the things that we're already doing, we're finding that other mayors are doing as well.
Discussions with the council on.
So you have a big crime problem, and instead of arresting the criminals and keeping them in jail, especially if they're repeat offenders, which a lot of them are, you're going to get mad at the people where they're doing the crime.
Yeah. You think the convenience store like watches the guy pull out a gun and shoot someone and goes, yeah, that's why I opened the store.
Get this guy.
Yeah, kill him too. That's why I opened the 7-Eleven.
But I think it might sound crazy. I think they see businesses as white.
That's fair, even though they're probably run by some sort of minority or Indonesian.
But like owning a business is a white thing.
Yeah.
So we have to hold the business owners accountable when it's mostly in these situations in St. Louis and San Francisco or whatever.
These are all the black mayors Joe Biden's trying to make look bad with illegal immigrants too.
But if you own a business, it's like that's who we're looking to attack business owners.
So we've gone over this too with the Kias and the Hyundais, how the city's mayors are suing them because the cars are too easy to steal. Now we're moving towards holding business owners responsible because criminals come and do crime on their or near their property.
Yeah.
And it's just everybody wants to do everything except lock up violent black criminals who are doing the crime. And that's a guess. They're mostly black. You've seen the city statistics. The St. Louis, Atlanta, a couple other cities in there. You know who's doing the convenience stores thuggery, right?
Memphis.
It's not Albert, the white guy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to Joy Reid, DEI section, our last piece of Urban Decay. We've been talking about DEI, and people say DEI is the N-word, and Joy Reid said it the other day, too.
Y'all think we don't know what you mean when you say DEI? We know what you mean.
What's DEI again?
DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Thank you.
All right, fine. You caught me. That is what I think. Yeah, we see a bunch of DEIs in Urban Decay every week.
Yeah, it's crazy. Joy Reid looks like shit, too. She shouldn't be making videos like this with a bonnet on late at night.
And obviously, Joy Reid's a big defender of DEI because she went to Harvard.
I know.
And to get into Harvard, you need to have perfect SATs or within a couple hundred points of perfect SATs.
Yeah.
Right?
High GPA, almost perfect there.
Pretty much. So Joy Reid should have close back when she took the test was at a 1600. She should be 1550 to 1600 to get into Harvard.
1550 with great extracurriculars.
Like 1550 and you're barely getting in with perfect everything else. So Joy Reid's SATs, because DEI is not bad and it's not putting unqualified people into the places that are deserved to be held by qualified people. She must have 1550 or better SATs.
Yeah. Release the SAT scores, Joy.
I'd like to see it.
And she's been DEI probably her whole life. Getting into Harvard, the CNN. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really see the talent dripping off the screen for Joy Reid.
Hey, can you pause?
So the people who
it's over here now. And the only thing I got left to watch is Fi's contribution that I'm gonna throw up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want DEI. I thought I knew what it meant, but the more they talked, the least. I thought DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I thought that'd be kind of like, what is that theory? Race theory, critical race theory. I thought it was like.
There's CRT, there's DEI, and then there's ESG, which is for the corporations.
All right,
So cool. Sure. DEI is pretending to be affirmative action or even like civil rights.
Reverse affirmative action.
Pretending to be those things, but it's more retarded. It's just super retarded. But anyways.
All right. Yeah, they never get the.
But speaking of retarded, since we're about to wrap up this stream, here's my contribution to
Am I gonna regret this, Fi?
No.
Just look at that guy.
Democracy basically means government.
Did he freeze?
By the people.
Shh, listen, Joe. It's 30 seconds.
Of the people. For the people. But the people are retarded.
Facts. Freaking facts.
That man is my spirit animal, by the way. He was reincarnated.
Hey, Fi, it's 3:13. If you're gonna start the show up relatively soon, because I do need to get out and get into my garden.
I think Based wants to host it. I'll host it if people can't play nicely, but I think we're all friends here, Joe.
I'll find you in a half hour.
I'll do it. Yeah. Well, what time is he going with it? People are.
I think Base said in an hour he's gonna stir up a.
I'm just saying. I'm just gonna say it right now, dude. You're not gonna fucking shove a microscope up my fucking ass like you do every fucking show and make me the butt of your fucking jokes.
You did so good. I hope they don't.
I'm gonna go ahead and fucking rage quit right now.
So good today.
I'm rage now. Joe, I'm gonna rage quit right now before you go to the show.
GS, we can do this the hard way or the easy way.
Stop resisting. Stop.
GS, we can do this the hard way or the easy way. Are you obstructing my investigation?
All right, so 45 minutes, and I'm not allowed to rage quit. All right, but I don't have to answer questions. I don't want to.
No, you can just sit there and listen. You can just be like, I'll let Fi talk for me. I'll just sit and watch.
All right,
that's up to you, bro. I mean,
I'll check it out because I'm trying to do the whole self control thing and the whole.
I know that's why we need to work on it.
But I think it's funny though because I have a pretty interesting sense of humor, and I think sometimes when I say some funny things, people think I'm triggered, which is kind of funny. Instead of laughing,
you can't hurt my feelings if that helps.
Oh, I'm not trying to hurt you. I have no reason to want to hurt you.
It's just me and Base. Do you think are you afraid of hurting Base feelings? Is that what
Base doesn't have feelings? I don't think
exactly.
He's like
then
Spock.
What's the problem?
He's like Spock without the weird ears.
Exactly. That's not logical, Captain. But anyways,
listening ears. No, I'm not gonna be fucking lectured. First off, I'm not gonna have a bunch of people in my junior fucking.
Who said you're gonna be lectured, GS? There's
me
other
some
people
Freudian bullshit.
There's other people in the room. You might not be the one lectured. So you just come on over, hang out. We'll have a good time.
There's a little bit of a pattern there. It's like, oh, we're bored. Let's put GS in the middle and
no.
Let's play bull in the ring.
No.
I usually pick the biggest motherfucker when I was in football, and I got my bell rung. But I always pick the biggest motherfucking lineman that would ever.
I know what you're saying. I got a dank meme for you to review on panel. You can help me out and tell me if it's dank enough or if it needs.
Yes, you are full of wisdom, Based.
All right.
I will give you that. That is, I cannot deny that. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. And
he's
you
smart.
Are full of wisdom.
I agree.
He is, dude. He's got control of some shit, man.
Guess who else is smart, GS? Remember when I gave you a pop quiz question the other day and you answered even better than I was expecting, and I was like, holy shit, look at the brains on this military dude. I didn't think y'all had brains.
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. People laugh. I had a 123 GT score. I mean,
all right. Well, let's see how smart you are, Mr. Smart Guy.
Well, I'm smart. I know that I know nothing. We'll just put it that way.
Okay, well, Base is hosting it. If he bitches out, my channel's always open for all the punk ass bitches.
Right. So he said 45 minutes. So we're looking at what, 4:00 p.m.
Yeah,
Eastern?
let's shoot for 45 minutes from now. That sounds like a good round number. Sound good, Base, GS, military?
Yeah, that sounds good. I could probably get a couple things in the ground there, and because I'm trying to line it up so I can get out there when the sun's kind of going down, but I still have light. because it's been
all right.
brutal heat wise over here. And
I got a busy day tomorrow, so I'm going to be MIA. So I just wanted to get all my Panelverse shit out of my system today. So and I'm going to be on Sarah's later too, probably. Did you see her topic? That sounds like fun. But anyways,
that's awesome, Base. That, and I would believe that, man. He said he had a 135 GT. That's actually really impressive.
Is that how much shit he tried to fit into a 10-pound bag?
Well, I mean, the thing is like, the thing that didn't make sense about the ASVAB for me was you have line scores. You have like different, like that's the general, the GT is your general tech. It's your overall kind of average. I had some scores that were like 131 or something like that was my highest. The technical stuff was, like the tech stuff was kind of like my lowest, but like the reading comprehension, all that stuff was usually higher for me. And from what I understand, there's actually a different grading system of the ASVAB. It's like 1 to 100 or something like that. So I don't understand why. Okay, so like Based even said it right there. He said he had a 91 ASVAB with 135 GT. I don't know. I don't remember what my first part was, but I think, like I said, one of my highest scores was a 131. So, and if he had a 135 GT, that means he had probably in the 140s or something like that in most of his stuff. Yeah, I need to actually try to get a copy of my ASVAB. But I just remember my recruiter looked at it and looked at me and looked at it and looked at me and said, "Well, what do you want to be in the Army?" And I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Well, you can be anything but an officer because you didn't
I want to be all that I can be."
So, but anyway, so I mean, I was just kind of. He looked a little surprised. I mean, I don't know. Maybe a lot of smart people don't really join the military, but
I learned all my military training from GI Joe, and knowing is half the battle. So
you got Kung Fu grip. Did you have the Kung Fu grip? All right, man.
Of course.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end the show here, and
it was fun. We'll do it again
sometime.
Right.
All right, we'll talk to you later, man.
Catch you soon. Later.
The only thing that enrages me is when you hear people say, you must believe me. I have no obligation to believe anybody. You have an obligation, if you want me to believe you, to prove what you're saying. I have a right to ask simple, fair questions. How do you know that? How can I trust that? And if you don't give me those answers, then I just don't believe you. And I don't have to believe you. And if your recourse is, you're a bad person for not believing me, fuck you.